So, we're making a Borderlands 2 mod. Just a heads up, I will not be showing off the mod today. It is still in the works and has a long ways to go. We're only talking about the mod for today. Modding in Borderlands 2 has been some of the most fun I've ever had in game after playing the crap out of the vanilla game. We've seen custom item mods, we've seen quality of life mods, we've seen a lot of different mods. But one thing we haven't really seen is a roguelike. A couple months ago, I really got into the Binding of Isaac, which for those who don't know is one of the most popular roguelike games out there. Also, I got Dead God at the cost of blood, sweat, and tears after 600 hours! Worth it. If you're unfamiliar with roguelike games, the concept is simple. You proceed through randomly generated dungeons and exponentially power up if your skills are up to par. And if you die, the run ends. That's it. It clicked in my mind that we really don't have anything like that for Borderlands 2. In fact, we have almost no custom game mode mods for BL2. I immediately sat down and wrote a list of all my ideas for the BL2 roguelike mod, and shared it with a few modders in the community. And that's where it sort of ended. Turns out, I was asking for way too much with a massive mod like this. And it goes without saying that people have other real-life things to worry about, and they're working on mods of their own. And modding in Borderlands 2 is not easy. It is a long and slow process. The amount of modding that had to be done to pull this off was taller than Mount Everest. So I decided to put it on the back burner, but then out of nowhere, this guy comes in. This is Pyrex. You might know him for the slow-mo deception mod that we used for the All or Nothing modded run. He offered to help with the roguelike mod idea and immediately got to work. It goes without saying that this guy can write Python code. I kid you not. In just a week, we already have the skeleton and mechanics of the mod in place. Also, I should probably stop calling it the mod since we do have a name for it. We're calling it Roguelands. Now, there is a 2D action game on Steam called Roguelands that came out in like 2015, but I don't care if the name matches. The name is too perfect not to use for the mod. Come on, like Borderlands, roguelike, put it together, Roguelands. This will be one of the first mods that isn't a story-related run. No listening to Claptrap, no saving Roland, none of that. You click start and get thrown into a map with minimal gear and go from there. Anyways, in order to make Roguelands, we need the core mechanics of a roguelike in place. Randomly generated maps, ways to power up, combat gets harder as you proceed, and if you die, the run ends. I would love to show you guys everything for the background footage, but we gotta save the full reveal for later on. For randomly generating maps, we are using Juso's map editor mod to close off chunks of maps, and we'll make them into smaller condensed combat areas. There will be a ton of maps to randomize from, and from this current time of recording, I've already made 50 plus custom maps for Roguelands. Oh, I should probably mention that too. I've been handling the custom map stuff, and Pyrex has been handling all the coding to string it all together. What's next here? Probably, let's talk about the loot. For the loot, there's going to be plenty of chests scattered around the combat areas, as well as special ways to get more loot. As for the combat, you need to kill whatever's in the map to proceed on. But how will the game know if you've cleared enough mobs? The legend, Pyrex, found a way to code in custom mission objectives into Borderlands 2. Yeah, this is the first of its kind and is insanely impressive on how it's pulled off. We now have a way to track kills for basic mobs, mini-bosses, bosses, and for those who make it far enough, a raid boss? But you'll see more on that when the Roguelands mod is closer to release. Of course, if you die along the way, the run will end in a special way. You are kicked out of the game mode and have to start from scratch again. Play good, get far, and get rewarded. That is the goal. Now, there is a ton more to Roguelands that I haven't even covered. It's hard to explain everything without showing off actual gameplay of the Roguelands mod running. Just know as someone who has sunk endless hours into Borderlands 2 and has seen it all, the Roguelands mod is some of the most fun I've ever had out of this game. Don't get me wrong, I love this game to death, but there is something awesome about not having to do a story push and jump right into the juicy combat with this game mode. It has a very vanilla feel while also pushing the player through fast-paced combat. I know it might not be the best comparison, but it has a mix of the good parts from BL2 Digipeak, BL3 Arms Race, except you have your action skill at the start, and Wonderland's Chaos Chambers. Everything has been adjusted fairly, such as loot distribution, enemy scaling, skill points, and more. Now the big question is, when is the Roguelands mod dropping? At the moment, I cannot say since this is a massive mod and there's much more work to be done and bugs to iron out. It also doesn't help that we keep having more and more cool ideas pop up in our heads and just adding more to the mod. But hey, that's a good thing, right? It also goes without saying that just like all mods for Borderlands 2, this is a PC-only mod. The last thing I want to mention is there is no plans for this to work in multiplayer, so it will be a solo-only experience. SDK mods almost never work in multiplayer, and there's so many issues that arise from the SDK mods with the way they're structured. In fact, we tried co-op with Roguelands, and the off-host player couldn't see anything custom, so it's not going to work for co-op. Anyways, I think that's going to cover the basics of Roguelands. Let me know below what you guys think about this mod so far, and if you want to see anything else added. Also, I'll try to answer any basic questions in the comments if you guys have any. We're super excited to fully reveal Roguelands when the time comes, but for now, take care, have an awesome day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.